Hello, this is McD the Beast, and this is McD Sports 4 coming to you today with my Missouri football predictions for the 2019 college football season. Before I continue, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and please subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated if you do that. I have a subscriber goal of 200 subscribers by August 24th. I would love to hit that goal, so go ahead and hit that subscriber button or you won't regret it. Anyways, Missouri football predictions, a team that I think is going to be decent this year. Unfortunately, they have a bowl ban, so they won't be able to get into a bowl game. And I'll talk about that in a minute here, but we're going to go through the pros and cons for Missouri, then your best case and worst case scenario for Missouri, then your three toughest and three easiest games for Mizzou. And then we're going to go through the schedule game by game. I'll tell you which games I have Missouri winning and losing, and I'll give you a score as well. And then I'll give you a final record prediction and conference record prediction. One other quick note before I continue: do not hold me to the game by game picks and the scores. Just hold me to the final record prediction there at the end and conference record prediction as well. So let's start off with the pros and cons. 3 pros and 1 con. First pro is your quarterback, Kelly Bryant. He's going to be your quarterback this year. He's going to try to prove that he's an NFL quarterback, so he's going to throw the ball more. But he does have that running ability. He comes from Clemson. He led Clemson to a championship. Someone, in my opinion, that is probably at least one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. So that's a pro. Your second pro is the offense. It's going to be one of the better offenses in the SEC as well. I think they could definitely run some teams off the field that they have on the schedule this year just alone because of their offense. And then your third pro is your schedule. Is a very easy schedule. Your toughest game. Well, we'll get into that in a second, but you really only have really 2 tough games this whole year, and one of them just a little sneak preview here. One of them you get them right after a bye week, coming off a bye week, so that's a good thing. Your one con is the bowl ban. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the bowl ban is bullshit. I think it's something that should have not been a bowl ban. I mean, North Carolina did the same thing. Missouri did, and North Carolina didn't cooperate with the NCAA. Missouri did. I think Missouri should have maybe only got a fine, and a few scholarships should have been taken away. But unfortunately, you do have a bowl ban. The good news is that it's only 1 year, so it's not like Ole Miss. It's like 2 years. It's only 1 year. I don't even think you have scholarships really taken away. But overall, I do think the bowl ban is bullshit. If you're a Missouri fan, I feel your pain there. But I think the bowl ban is a big time con, and the reason why is I think Missouri's going to get upset a game or two this year because of this bowl ban. And what I mean by that is they're going to go into some of these games and they're just not going to rise up to the challenge. And I think that's going to be um, a game or two that Missouri probably should win, but they're not going to win. So I think the bowl ban is a big time con for Missouri. Now let's go through your best case and worst case scenario. Here's the schedule right here in front of you. Best case scenario 10-2. This schedule is easy, but you do play in the SEC, which means you get Georgia, Florida, and Kentucky, and Tennessee. I'll throw them in the hat as well of teams in the East that I think could give you trouble. You get West Virginia in the non-con. That could give you trouble as well, even though you get them at home. And then out of the West, you do draw Arkansas and Ole Miss. I know they're the 2 bomb teams in the SEC West, but still. I think Arkansas is going to be approved this year. There should be some hype around that Ole Miss football program. I actually spoke with someone earlier today about that. Mark Rogers TV, go check him out. But if you haven't already, but anyways, I was telling him, I was like, there should be some hype around this Ole Miss program since they're not on a bowl ban anymore. Like, fans should be excited about that, but it's going. But there seems not to be much excitement about Ole Miss not having that bowl ban anymore. But still, Ole Miss, middle of the road team, and you also get Troy and as well, and also South Carolina as well. I forgot about them. So I mean, Missouri could definitely slip up a few times, and then the worst case scenario is 6-6. I kind of alluded to it earlier. I do think Missouri's going to lose a few games they probably shouldn't lose, and I think your worst case scenario is 6-6. 3 toughest games are Georgia, Florida, and Kentucky. Georgia, a top 5 team in the country. Good news is that you get them coming off a bye week. Bad news is that it's on the road. Florida, Yes, you get them at home. You have beat them 3 times in a row, so it could become the fourth time in a row. But Florida, they're like a top 15 team in the country, so that's definitely a tough game. And then Kentucky, you get them on the road. Kentucky has a very good defense. They went into your building last year and squeaked by with a victory at the buzzer. But overall, Kentucky, very tough defense, could be trouble for Kelly Bryant, especially if he wants to throw the ball more this season. Your 3 easiest games are Wyoming, Southeast Missouri, and Troy. Wyoming, I know it's on the road, but Missouri should beat Wyoming by at least 3 touchdowns. Wyoming's a middle of the road team in the Mountain West. They don't recruit well, but they do play their asses off of their coach. And by the way, we will be doing a Wyoming prediction video at some point before the season starts. So stay tuned for that. Southeast Missouri, a team FCS opponent. I mean, I'm not really going to get into that. I mean, they might. Never mind. I'm thinking of a different FCS team. And then the final team, Troy, you get them after a bye week. That's why I threw them on here. It was kind of by default. But Troy is a team they're definitely going to be decent this year. You can guarantee that at the bare minimum they're going to be decent, and it could pose some trouble, especially if with this Missouri team that I don't think might not show up for all these games since they have a bowl ban. Now let's go through the schedule game by game. I'll tell you which games I have Missouri winning and losing. First game on the road against Wyoming. As I said a minute ago, Wyoming, one of those middle of the road teams in the Mountain West. I do think they're going to put up a good fight against y'all. I think this game's going to be closer than you want it to be, but Missouri's going to come up on top, 33-20. Next game, West Virginia at home. West Virginia, a team they're going to be restocking and rebuilding. It's going to be a rough few years there at West Virginia. Some people have this West Virginia team at 2-10. I disagree. They're going to be better than 2-10, but they're not going to be good enough to beat Missouri, especially since the game's in Columbia, Missouri. And I have Missouri winning this game 48-41. It'll be a shootout, but at the end, I got to go Missouri. Next game, Southeast Missouri. This will be a win against the FCS opponent, 55-10. Next game is your first game of conference play. South Carolina. South Carolina is a team, in my opinion, that they have a really tough schedule. They're going to need this game if they want to have a decent season. I went back and forth for this one. South Carolina does usually beat Missouri, but this year I think it's going to be a bit different. I have Missouri squeaking by South Carolina 38-33. I think it might be a bit of a weird game like it was last season, but overall, give me Missouri to win 38-33. Then you get your first bye week. Every team gets 2 bye weeks because of how the calendar aligns with the schedule. And by the way, your bye weeks work out perfectly if you're Missouri. 4 games and a bye, then 4 games and a bye, and then your final 4 games of the season. So that bowl ban really hurts you if you're Missouri. But anyways, coming off the bye week, you get Troy at home. As I said, Troy probably a top 2 or 3 team in the Sun Belt. You look at them; they have a pretty good offense. I think they keep this game close, but at the end, Missouri's going to go ahead and win this one, 37-28. This is one of those games that I think you're going to scratch your head at if you're Missouri, but I also think this is one of those games Missouri doesn't really show up to, and they probably play down to the competition some. So it's going to be a lot closer than it probably should be. Next game is your homecoming game at home against Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a team that they're back after the bowl ban. There should be some hype around that program, even though I'm not seeing it. But anyways, Ole Miss, very good offense. In my opinion, I think they have a pretty good offense. The defense, though, is going to be garbage, and that's going to be the difference in this one. The Missouri defense will make enough plays, and I have Missouri winning this game 49-44. Next game is at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is a team. I like their head coach, Derek Mason. I think he coaches his team well. I mean, let's be honest. I hate saying this, but it's tough to win in Vanderbilt, especially with the qualifications to get into that university. And I think since the game's in Vandy, I think Missouri's going to play down to them. I think Vandy's going to play them tough, and I think Vandy's going to squeak by this one. I think Vandy pulls off the upset. Give me Vandy to win this game by field goal, 27-24, as Mizzou drops their first game of the year. And by the way, Mizzou will be ranked going into that game against Vandy. So if that happens, the way I'm forecasting it, that will be a huge win for Vandy. Next game at Kentucky. This is the first team that we're talking about that Mizzou's playing that I actually did a video about already. The Kentucky football prediction video. Go ahead and check that out on the McD Sports 4 YouTube channel. Missouri is a team. They lost to them last year. The game's in Kroger Field this year. Whenever I see a Kroger supermarket, I think of Kroger Field. I don't know why, but when I was on vacation, I saw a few Kroger supermarkets, and I just started yelling Kroger Field for some reason. But anyways, a little side note there. Kentucky is a team they're gonna have a very good defense, in my opinion. Don't underestimate this Kentucky defense. The offense, though, I think will take a step back. But since it's in Kroger Field, I'm giving it to Kentucky 21-16. It'll be close. It won't surprise me if Missouri actually goes into Kentucky and beats them, but give me Kentucky to win 21-16. Then you get your second bye week, and then you get to go on the road against Georgia, your toughest game of the year. Georgia is a team that last year I thought you guys played well. You just came up a bit short. I think you lost by 14 points or something. It was like 43-29, something like that. It was kind of a weird game. The offense for Georgia didn't really show up that game. I think this game is going to go a bit back and forth early, but I think Georgia probably pulls away some in the second half. And I think Georgia does beat you 41-27. The game's in Athens, so it is a road game for Missouri. So even if Missouri was on the bowl ban, I would have been picking Georgia to win this game. But I think this game's going to be a fun game, kind of a shootout. But give me Georgia to beat Missouri 41-27. Next game is at home against Florida. At this point, if you're Mizzou, you have a 3-game losing streak. You're going to be a bit desperate for a win, and I think you do get the win against Florida. If you watch my Florida football prediction video, by the way, go check out my Georgia football prediction video as well as the Florida one. But anyways, Florida, listen, they haven't beat Missouri in a few years. I expect the same to happen. I'm just not sold on the Florida Gators. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think Mizzou gets them. The game's in Mizzou. 29-24 Mizzou in that one. I think the Missouri defense makes a play or two against Felipe Franks, who I'm not sold on either. And I think that's the difference in that one. Next game at home against Tennessee, a team that you absolutely ran off the field back-to-back years. I think you beat them both years at the same score, 50-17. This one would be closer, but I'm giving it to Missouri. The game's in Missouri. I do think Tennessee is pretty close to Missouri talent wise, and all in the whole 9 yards basically. So I do think these teams are pretty close to each other with rankings and stuff. But at the end, I have to give it to Missouri by 2 touchdowns, 38-24. I have to see Tennessee beat Missouri for me to even pick Tennessee to go ahead and beat Missouri because of the previous 2 years. And then and by the way, one other quick note: the Tennessee Missouri game usually turns out to be a shootout every year. So just one other quick note there. Then your final game is a Friday game on the road against Arkansas. Rivalry game right here. It's a rivalry game. If you watch my Arkansas football prediction video, you already know who I have in this one. Arkansas is a team. I'm not too high on them. I'll admit it right now. But I think this offense is going to turn some heads, and I do think Arkansas is going to pull off an upset somewhere this year. I think this is the game. I think Arkansas gets Missouri in this one. The game's in Arkansas. It might be played in Little Rock. I believe when Arkansas plays Missouri, during that final game is in Little Rock instead of Fayetteville, but I might be wrong on that. But anyways, give me Arkansas to win this one, 42-34. I don't think Arkansas is the better team per se, but I think this is a rivalry game, and I think Arkansas will pull off an upset this year. I think Missouri with the bowl ban is going to play to their competition some this year. I think Arkansas picks them off here, 42-34, to wrap up the season for Missouri. And if you count up all the wins and losses, I have Missouri going 8-4 with a 4-4 conference record. 8-4 with a 4-4 conference record. If you didn't have the bowl ban, it would easily be 9-3. I did my 5 bowl prediction videos at the beginning of the year during the new year, and I came out and said Missouri will make a New Year's Six bowl this upcoming season, and I think without the bowl ban, I will feel pretty confident about that prediction. But with the bowl ban, I think you go 8-4 with a 4-4 conference record. Still a decent year. I think you guys went 8-4 last year as well. But I think this does cost you probably a season because I think you're going to get upset probably twice this year against Vandy and Arkansas. But anyways, comment down below. Tell me where you have Missouri going. I hope for Missouri fans, I hope they get rid of that bowl ban. I think there's still a chance they might, but I highly doubt it at this point since the season's actually under a month away. But anyways, 8-4 with a 4-4 conference record. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Please subscribe to the channel. It will be greatly appreciated if you do that. Next video is San Diego State football predictions. That'll be out tomorrow, or rather later today, since this video is actually going to be posted after midnight. Thanks for watching, and this is McD the Beast signing off.